Hello, thanks for your interest in medical language, terminology, and context, a unique alternative to the teaching and learning of medical terminology. I'm Melody Hull, the author. This is a language book. I wrote it from the philosophical stance that medical terminology and medical language form an advanced, career-specific subset of the English language. The intention of the book is to facilitate language acquisition through immersion, development of language competencies using medical terminology. Through immersion, learners will acquire the ability to communicate professionally and appropriately in their medical careers. The context of the real world is of primary importance to adult learners. They come with goals, personal agendas, and particular career or interest needs. For them, context provides meaning and relevance, and these contribute to long-term memory and learning. As you may know, there is a good deal of educational research that supports this, particularly in adult education. Just as you would find in any language book, context is provided in this textbook. You'll quickly see how medical terminology is embedded in the context of healthcare across the broad spectrum of careers and patient care, including language of assessment, diagnostics, treatment, disease, illness, and injury. For relevance, learners walk hand in hand with healthcare professionals in 5 specific patients: 1 child, 2 adults, and 2 older adults who have all been in the same motor vehicle accident. Learners are immersed in the language of their care. Teaching through narrative has long been accepted as sound educational practice in the health disciplines and beyond. I employed this teaching and learning strategy to write this book. Each chapter begins a narrative and then follows through with patient updates. Each patient is re-encountered in patient updates in subsequent chapters too. And each time this occurs, vocabulary is enhanced with new or expanded terminology, workplace jargon, and so on. This method supports cumulative and long-term learning. Additionally, through immersion into the language and work of healthcare professionals involved in this patient care storyline, learners are able to explore these careers for themselves. Please don't worry. The baby has not been thrown out with the bathwater by taking a new approach to teaching medical terminology. Medical language, terminology, and context values the foundations of this genre. Chapters are replete with word part recognition and word-building features, tables, and exercises. What you will find that is different, however, is that single body systems are not taught in their entirety at one single time. After all, this is a language book and not an anatomy and physiology text. Patients are complex individuals who rarely present for healthcare with one sole body system in question. And so, the very important terminology for A and P is taught in a whole-person, cumulative fashion closely tied to the relevance of the ongoing cases at hand. Learners engage in activities that facilitate retention of new vocabulary and mirror real-world healthcare situations. And with a focus on language acquisition and communication, learners will use new terminology immediately. Enhancing core vocabulary, expanding it through subsequent chapters, and immersing the learner in healthcare experiences keeps new language alive and useful. A unique feature of this book is that medical language and medical terminology are differentiated. Medical terminology includes those technical, specific, standardized, and precise words, terms, and phrases used in medicine, health sciences, anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, and so on. Medical language, on the other hand, consists of words, phrases, jargon, acronyms, abbreviations, and so on, used less formally to communicate a patient's status, to confer with peers, and or terms and expressions used in interactions with patients. Health and allied health professionals use a blend of these two vocabularies, this lexis. Recognition and use of this career-specific body of language, this corpus, leads to effective and meaningful communication between care providers, their colleagues and patients, and communication with medical terminology and language is the goal of this book. Medical language, terminology, and context never loses sight of this. On a final note, I want you to know that I wrote the instructor guide to help you, so teaching medical terminology and language using immersion is an easy transition. And when you have other questions or need real-time support, you can count on F.A. Davis directly or via your sales representative.